Pretty sure I'll knock this over. All right. I'm gonna go ahead and say welcome back to the Ball Oasis YouTube channel. The show, the podcast. I don't really like using the word podcast. I like calling it a show more. But I say welcome back because I have received some feedback. We've received some feedback talking about the start of our shows, and how they just kind of waltz right into the first topic that we get into. So I kind of came into this with the idea that an intro was kind of not necessary because I kind of wanted this to be a casual conversation, um nothing too fancy, nothing too rigid or anything. But if that's something that you want to see, let us know down below in the comments or hit us on Instagram. If you have our number, Snapchat, just hit us there.
Yeah,
And if that's something y'all want to see, we definitely be willing to change that if that's what y'all want.
yeah. All suggestions would be appreciated. So
Right. So with that being said, let's hop right into the action that we've seen over the last couple of days. Um, Jacob, out of all the headlines that have come out over the last 2, 3 days or so, which one has been on your mind the most that you would like to start the show with?
I say the DeJounte Murray trade or trade rumors
Recent.
because that's arguably best player on the team. I know they're rebuilding, but he wasn't on a massive contract. I think it was like two years, 34 million. So it's not really that big, and you could easily build around him. But and they basically just traded him for draft picks. So it's kind of I think it was a steal by Atlanta, but I don't know. That was just a very confusing thing, I guess.
Yeah, it's definitely weird to me as well. It's clear that the Spurs had made it known that they want to go the youth movement route,
Yeah,
but I mean, in addition to Dejounte Murray, who's 23 years old, I mean,
yeah,
if like you said, if it's something where they don't want to pay him down the line, I guess, and they have drafted a lot of guards over the last couple of years. They drafted Blake Wesley and Malachi Branham this year. They
right.
have um they have Josh Primo, who they drafted in the lottery last year. So that their backcourt is pretty full up. So if that's the route that they're going, if they believe in those guys enough, um I mean, hey, go for it, I guess. And
Yeah,
I like to think that Greg Popovich has to have some type of say in what's going on.
yeah,
And the biggest thing about all of this to me that I think is they're stocking up on draft picks, of course, and they're looking to be a tanking team. They're probably be one of the worst teams in basketball next year. There's a prospect in next year's draft. If you
yeah.
don't know,
I was gonna mention
he,
that. Yeah, the tanking for the first pick, I
he's
believe,
a
right?
he's a 7'2", 7'3" forward hybrid guy. One of those guys who can handle the ball, shoot, crazy athleticism. I think his name is Victor Wembanyama, or I
Yes,
don't even want to try to pronounce his
yeah.
name.
I've seen highlights of him. I won't get the name right. I'm not even going to try it.
Yeah, I'm sure we'll know by this time next year. But it looks like, and I know that he's French, so I know that him and Tony Parker have a close relationship. So maybe Tony Parker is giving Greg Popovich and the Spurs some intel on that. So I mean, that's the best idea that I've got
Yeah,
because on paper, it doesn't make a lot of sense. I think DeJounte Murray's great. I think that he fits Greg Popovich's scheme very well. And
I agree.
I mean, looking at the Atlanta Hawks side of it, I guess let's move on to the Atlanta Hawks side of the trade. I mean, you get a guy who can defend his butt off in the backcourt, which was much needed next to Trae Young, who
Right.
who doesn't defend much at all. Um, but I
So
think it's a very good pickup for the Atlanta Hawks. I am interested to see how he plays off the ball,
yeah,
because he was pretty ball dominant on the Spurs the last couple of years. But I think he'll be just fine. I like the fit, and yeah. How do you think Dejounte will fit alongside Trae Young?
I think it'll fit well. Well, I know both are ball dominant, so it'd be interesting to see how they do it. Like they switch it up. One do it for a while, one just would take turns doing it. or see how, if he can play off ball. I know he can drive and finish pretty well, but I don't know how it'll mesh off like him off ball. I'm not sure how well it'll mesh with Trey Young.
Right, because he's not a knockdown shooter
Yeah,
by
yeah,
any stretch of the imagination. He can make threes, but he's not. I definitely don't think they should limit him to a catch and shoot guy.
yeah.
He should definitely still get his turn to be able to put the ball on the court and make something happen.
And surprisingly, they didn't have to give up John Collins. I know they're shopping him, but I figured that would be in any trade they did, but they got out of it. So
Right. So yeah, that was a development as of a few hours ago. Um, moving on to I guess a few days ago when this happened now. The reports leading up to this all pointed to one Kyrie Irving
yeah,
becoming a Los Angeles Laker. It looked like he would become a Los Angeles Laker as of 2 days ago. And then literally hours later, um, it comes out that he is re-signed with the Brooklyn Nets. His loyalties lie with Kevin Durant. And I know Brian Windhorst and some other NBA insiders made it seem like it was a done deal almost,
yeah,
that he would be a Laker, and that's where all the hype was. But Kyrie comes out and says, "Whoa, whoa, whoa, let's calm down. I'm here. I made a commitment to Kevin. I made a commitment to Steve Nash. I made a commitment to this team, and I plan to uphold my commitment." So, what were your thoughts on that sudden change of the tides?
yeah. It was confusing because they both had mutual interest in each other. The Lakers and Kyrie. It was rumors that he was still in, started talking to LeBron again or like in contact with him. Um, and then I know KD kind of stayed away from it of everything, kind of stayed out of the business, let Kyrie do his own thing. But I didn't think he was if he left, I figured it'd be the Lakers, but I really didn't think he would just opt out and take that big of a pay cut to go to LA.
Right.
But I think
Yeah.
he just wants the max from Brooklyn next year, I guess, when his contract's up. But I don't know if they're willing to give it to him. They're already hesitant about it because of the whole availability to play. So, which
Yeah.
might change next year. So it's not.
I
I don't
mean,
think it's good.
yeah. I mean, it's interesting to see how the rest of that roster, works itself out. We saw earlier today, Patty Mills. I don't know if you saw
Yeah, he
that he
opted out.
declined his
Yeah,
$6 million option for next year, so he's an unrestricted free agent. They have the whole Nicholas Claxton thing going on, where they said that they weren't going to bring him back. Now they might. Um, I mean, Blake Griffin wasn't a big piece of that team last year, at least, but he's now on the open market. It's interesting to see what the Brooklyn Nets might bring in to add to what they already have. I mean, of course, it's yet to be seen what Ben Simmons can bring to the table. Joe Harris didn't really play at all last year.
yeah,
Um, and their big man situation. I mean, I've even seen the name DeAndre Ayton be rumored with them now,
yeah. I have to. I've
which,
seen Mo Bamba too. As I've seen him a few times today about it. About they might be interested in him.
yeah. So the Brooklyn Nets are going to be a very interesting team to look out for over the next couple of days, um, along with the Los Angeles Clippers. I think the
Yeah,
Los Angeles Clippers on Monday night. The Houston Rockets bought out John Wall's $40 million contract, um, and almost immediately he prepared to sign a deal with the Los Angeles Clippers.
right.
And this, in my opinion, is a very interesting fit, because I have no idea what to expect. I have no idea what to expect from John Wall, who has played a little over 50 games in the last 3 years.
Yeah,
And he's battled with injuries, and for a guy whose game has been based a lot off of his ability to drive to the basket and play make for teammates from that spot, it's going to be interesting to see how John Wall fits on that team, man.
yeah. I want to see what he can bring. After not playing last year and rumors of him getting bought out for a while and traded for a while. I think it'd be interesting to see how he fits with PG and Kawhi and see how they kind of run that offense now. Defensively, I think it'll be, he kind of adds defensively. So they're already a good defensive team. So it's just I think I want to see where he's at offensively, I guess. since he hadn't
Yeah.
played that much lately, like last few years.
And I'm also very interested to see his relationship with the coach that he plays for is Tyronn Lue. Of course, I regard Tyronn Lue as one of the top 3 coaches in the NBA. So I'm excited to see how Tyronn Lue employs John Wall into that scheme, both offensively and defensively. You've got all those wings, you've got all these guys. They picked up, of course, Norman Powell and Robert Covington last year. You've got Luke Kennard, Terrence Mann, and Reggie Jackson is, of course, still on the roster. So
Yeah.
I have the feeling that they're not done yet. I've got the feeling that they still have moves to make. But yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what happens with the Clippers over the next few days as well. And I guess moving on to their crosstown rival, the Los Angeles Lakers, had some rather unfortunate news, I would say. Russell Westbrook opted into his $47.4 million player option, which was so unexpected, I guess.
Yeah.
But props to Russ for getting his money, man. And
Yeah.
it is going to be interesting to see. I really hope that we can get a full season of LeBron, AD, and Russ on the floor together. Because I still think that team has a shot to compete. I actually do. I think that team has a shot to compete. It's going to be very dependent on the pieces around them too, of course. And the contract from Russell Westbrook, I guess, kind of hurts that more than helps that. So Jacob, what are your thoughts on the Lakers outlook right now?
Yeah, I know I guess you can say he had a down year last year, even though his numbers really wasn't that bad then. But I think he just didn't play up to par with what we thought, what he has been lately, like last few years. But I think it really just depends on how they build around him. Because I think depth is certainly one of the biggest things like in the NBA right now. Being the ability to switch, a bunch of 3-and-D guys, just wings, I guess, guard every position.
That's what every team wants.
Yeah. So I really just think it depends on how they build, I guess, the supporting cast of AD, LeBron, and Russ. I guess that's how far they'll go, just how good their supporting cast will be.
Yeah. And personally, I'm kind of glad that this chorus stayed together for at least one more season, because I want to see them under the new head coach. I want to see how they fare under Coach Darvin Ham.
Right.
I think defensively they should be better, although Frank Vogel is a defensive-minded coach as well. But it's going to be interesting to see the Lakers next season.
Very interesting, yeah.
As it always is. Hopefully there's not it's not as drama filled as it was this year.
Yeah.
But I guess moving on from the Lakers, I don't really want to get into any guys who haven't really signed yet, the Jalen Brunsons, the DeAndre Aidens of the world, because I feel like we will have a lot more intel on those guys come Sunday when the next podcast will probably be out. So the tides have kind of shifted to the Knicks for Jalen Brunson. That's the way that we're looking as of Wednesday night. But hey, things could definitely change until then. I saw the Miami Heat jump into the picture today, kind of out of nowhere.
Really?
And that would be a very interesting fit.
Yeah, I think I've seen that Victor Oladipo is going to test the open market too this summer, and see where he can go. I guess it gives more money, maybe, or a better role.
And I did want to kind of bring this point up on the podcast. I called it a podcast, the show. My wish for big market teams. I've been thinking about this for a long time now. My wish for teams like the Lakers and the Knicks, those two especially, those two come to mind at first. Teams who always seem to be drama filled, who feel like they have to always be at the top, or it's just a disaster of a season.
Yeah.
Don't name chase. That's the reason why Russell Westbrook is on your team in the first place.
Right, yeah.
Don't name chase. Just there's so many solid guys around the league who you could get for veteran minimums or mid-level exceptions or trade exceptions that you might have. And for the Knicks, they've got cap space. They've got a lot of cap space to work with. So my plea to them is please don't name chase. Don't get a guy just because of his name.
Yeah.
I saw a nasty trade. And I wanted to get your thoughts about this. This kind of kicks off the next segment that I wanted to get into.
Okay.
It's Bleacher Report came out yesterday with 4 mock trades revolving around the next couple of days, some signing trades with some guys. And the first one had to do with the New York Knicks. I thought it was absolutely despicable. And I want to get your thoughts about this. It's involving the Sacramento Kings. And it involves moving De'Aaron Fox to the New York Knicks.
I think I saw that, yeah.
For RJ Barrett, Derrick Rose, and a first-round pick. What do you have to say to that?
I don't know. That trade is, I don't even know what to call it.
It's horrible.
It's horrible, yeah.
It's awful.
It's I don't know. Some of these mock trades I've seen lately is terrible.
And no disrespect to De'Aaron Fox whatsoever. He's a great player who's unfortunately playing for the Sacramento Kings.
Yeah.
But
probably the worst team to play for.
Man, RJ Barrett took such good strides this year.
Right.
And on top of that, you trade away your 6th man of the year candidate when he was healthy and Derrick Rose and a future first round pick. That's awful. That's terrible.
It's terrible.
Yeah. Another one here is a straight up 1-for-1.
I think I know what it is.
And it's straight up Miles Turner to the Phoenix Suns for DeAndre Ayton.
Yep.
I want to get your thoughts first on this before I elaborate on mine.
Well, I believe it's mutual interest between DeAndre Ayton and the Phoenix Suns kind of part ways at this point. I don't think Miles Turner is that bad. I think he's a really good center defensively. I think he averaged, I want to say, close to 2 blocks last season.
Yeah, he usually does. He usually ranges around there.
Yeah. I think it'd be close to a solid, fair trade almost, because I know DA kind of wants to leave. Miles Turner might just need to change the scenery, but I believe it'd be a good pickup for Indiana. Really good. I think it'd be a really good pickup.
Yeah.
So,
and Miles Turner has been thrown in trade talks for like 3-4 years now. We've heard his name. We've heard his name in discussions for forever now. It seems like. I think this is a steal for Indiana.
Yeah,
I think that this is a steal for Indiana. I think DeAndre Ayton is great, and for whatever reason, I honestly don't know what the Phoenix Suns dilemma is here, because I think DeAndre Ayton has all-star potential.
Mm-hmm.
And I think he fits really well alongside Chris Paul and Devin Booker. Now, Miles Turner is a stretch 5 who can play defense. Those type of guys, of course, will fit on any team.
Yeah.
But I just don't know if I'm the Phoenix Suns, if I'm actually willing to risk letting DeAndre Ayton go, because I think his potential is incredible. Not to say that Miles Turner is a scrub either. He's a really good player as well, but he's dealt with injuries. If I'm Indiana, I'm pulling the trigger on this one. If I'm Phoenix, I'm not. But of course, their front office seems to think very differently than I do.
So. Yeah, I think they ready to part ways. I don't understand why. I guess it's the contract issues, but I believe the contract issues. But I don't see why they would do it. But maybe just a change will help them, I guess, or that's what they think.
Yeah, maybe so. And for this third one, sticking with Miles Turner, as he's thrown in almost every trade we see. Miles Turner to the Toronto Raptors for OG Anunoby and Khem Birch. What do you think about this one first?
I know Toronto's been looking for a center for a while, I think. Right. Very undersized. Pascal Siakam was basically their center most of the year. I think all the year I think Chris Boucher kind of played a little bit center. Playoffs, I think it really hurt him, especially against, Joel Embiid. But I don't know if You think OG would be worth it though to trade him for Miles Turner? Because you lose a really good player in OG, really good wing. I feel like.
There's so much cloudiness with OG in that organization because it's come out that he supposedly is unhappy with his
Yeah,
role on the team. But Masai Ujiri has been fielding trade calls for him, specifically with the Portland Trailblazers. But it came out today that the offer that they threw at the Blazers around draft time was for the 7th pick and either Josh Hart or Nasir Little, which, in my opinion, is an overpay for OG Anunoby. And I'm glad that we didn't pull the trigger on that
right.
one.
Yeah,
But it seems like Masai Ujiri has a track record of kind of overvaluing his guys, which is understandable.
hmm
I'd say half of the GMs in the league do, and sometimes they're stingy and stubborn enough to till the point where the other team is just like, okay, here, take it.
yeah,
We're
yeah,
ready to get this over with. But I mean, if OG Anunoby doesn't want to be there, um, it might be better to go ahead and get him out the door now. And his value is at an all-time high. His value is at
yes,
an all-time high right now too. Um, personally, I think this is a good. I think this is a good trade for both sides. I do. I think this is a good trade for both sides. I think that the Raptors. I think DeAndre Ayton would be a solid pickup for the Raptors, who need that interior defense,
hmm
and I think he adds an element to their team that they haven't had in a very long time.
right.
And OG Anunoby alongside Tyrese Halliburton and now Benedict Mathurin in the
hmm
backcourt. That's a good 1-2-3 punch, man. That's a good 1-2-3 punch.
Yeah,
I guess OG Anunoby wouldn't technically be in the backcourt, but that team looks solid. I like that trade for both sides. Actually, that's the one good trade that Bleacher Report has come up with. Good job, guys.
yeah. One of a lot of terrible ones.
Yeah. There's one more, if I'm not mistaken. I might have to pull it up because I've forgotten about it right now. Um, let's see if I can find it real fast. Okay, so this last trade involves a team who made a trade today, the Atlanta Hawks.
hmm
But of course, like we said, that they're probably not done with their trades either. And this one involves the Charlotte Hornets. The Charlotte Hornets will receive John Collins and Kevin Herter. The Atlanta Hawks would get Terry Rozier, Kelly Oubre, and PJ Washington.
Hmm.
So I'll lead off with this one. These trade ideas also came out before the DeJounte Murray trade that was
hmm
made today. So kind of looking at it now, Terry Rozier, I guess, wouldn't make a whole lot of sense since you already went and got DeJounte Murray unless you intend to bring him off the bench as a sixth man.
Yeah,
Um, but I mean, other than that, for the Charlotte Hornets getting John Collins, I like John Collins alongside LaMelo.
hmm
I think that would be
that'd be
really
fun.
fun,
Yeah, it'd be fun to watch.
especially if you're potentially losing Miles Bridges, who, with all the signs right now, looking like he will be a Detroit Piston in a few days.
hmm
Um,
I think they
and
came
then
out
picking
saying
up a
they,
shooter with Kevin Herter to go alongside him. The
yeah,
Charlotte Hornets were not a very good 3-point shooting team. And Kevin Herter could definitely be
help
plugged
that.
in
Yeah,
and be one of the best 3-point shooters on that team.
yeah, I agree.
With the Hawks picking up Kelly Oubre as well, who's a good wing defender. Defense, something that they need very desperately. And PJ Washington, take a flyer on PJ Washington. He's still young. He can score. I mean, you don't have to play him that much, I guess, but he's there. He's available.
Yeah, that'd be a pretty good trade for I guess Atlanta for really both sides. It'd be really good for both sides. But I
That one
think
was
it's
okay, I thought.
yes, I think it's
I'd probably say yes faster if I'm the Hornets to that one
mm,
than the Hawks, especially now. But Bleacher Report with some very polarizing takes per usual. So that's kind of all free agency I wanted to talk about right now. You know, we had smaller deals. There was one trade today that happened today that I do want to talk about.
mm,
Particularly small trade. Kentavious Caldwell-Pope and Ish Smith going to the Denver Nuggets, and Monte Morris and Will Barton in return going to the Washington Wizards.
Right.
Very lateral seeming trade. I guess both teams kind of get better at one certain thing. But the only reason I want to bring this trade up is because I want to ask you, and if you can do this, this is very impressive. If Ish Smith steps on the floor for the Denver Nuggets next season, he will have played for the most franchises out of anybody in NBA history.
Yeah.
The Denver Nuggets will be his 13th team that he's played for. So, Jacob, right now, I'm going to give you 10 guesses to see if you can get 10 of the teams that Ish Smith has played for. If you can go 10 for 10, I'm impressed. I'm super impressed.
I don't think that'll happen. Yeah, obviously Washington. I haven't kept up with them a whole lot, so it's I don't even know if I can name another one. I haven't kept up with them.
Can you name 5? Wait, you can't name 2?
2, maybe. I don't know.
You got to be able to at least name 5. If you can name 5, we're good.
I looked at it earlier. I looked up some of his stats earlier. I just can't remember because I just never paid attention to him.
Where was he before Washington?
I think it was.
He got traded this season.
It was this season?
Yeah.
I'll be completely honest. I really don't know.
The team that he was on before, he got replaced by another short backup point guard. If you don't know, then this whole segment is a wash.
Yeah. Was it Charlotte?
It was the Charlotte Hornets, yes. From there, can you name one more team? This is the team that I think he played for the longest. So come on, you got to be able to name this team. 2K Ish Smith used to be a demon for these teams. Nothing really?
I'll throw a guess. I'll throw Detroit.
I was about to say, you're going to 50% chance that you probably get it right anyway. It was Detroit. The Detroit Pistons were the team we played for the longest. And I remember back on those old 2Ks, you could plug in Ish Smith as your backup point guard. He could do everything for you, man. He was a fun guy to play with back in the day. But Ish Smith, if he steps on the floor for the Denver Nuggets, will be the most traveled journeyman in NBA history.
13.
That's pretty crazy to think about. And he's probably not done going to different teams either. Crazy stuff. So getting into this next segment, which I have been very excited about, kind of shifting gears completely. I think this is going to be the most well-received segment on this show so far in its existence. It's a new segment that I want to introduce, and I hope it sticks. I want it to stick throughout several episodes. I want it to be kind of a thing going forward. So let us know in the comments what you think about it. It's called Factor Cap. It's called Factor Cap, and basically, I've done some research over the last few days. I've come up with the most bizarre, random stats and storylines that I could possibly come up with. And I have 8 of them here tonight. And Jacob has to tell me if they're fact or if it's cap.
Should be fun.
If it's cap, he has to tell me the correct answer. And if he does, he gets a point. There's no prize. There's no prize, but I guess you'll feel better about yourself if you know more than you don't.
Yeah.
Personally, I'll say if he gets 5 out of 8, I think he succeeds for this first time around. All right. So of course you can play along at home as well. This should be pretty good. This should be some pretty good content. So the first question, well, I guess it's not really a question, it's a statement. Wilt Chamberlain has the most career 30-point games in NBA history. Is that a fact or is it cap?
I'll go fact.
You say it's a fact?
Yeah.
Well, Jacob, you're off to a strong start. You're 0 for 1. You're 0 for 1. That is indeed cap. Wilt Chamberlain is second all time
Okay.
in career 30-point games behind Michael Jeffrey Jordan, who has 36 more than him.
Hmm.
So it's not looking too good already, Jacob.
Yeah.
On to the second question. Nikola Jokic has the highest career offensive rating of all time. Of all time, out of anybody ever in NBA history. Highest career offensive rating.
That's fact.
That's a fact.
Yeah.
Jacob, you were 0 for 2.
0 for 2. Okay.
You were 0 for 2.
I know
and
what was it this year?
I guarantee you won't be able to guess who it actually is because it's offensive rating is such a weird stat.
Is it a current player?
Yeah. One guess. I'm only giving you one guess on this because you're not going to be in the ballpark.
Not. Well known.
Offensive rating usually skews towards big men. I'll let you know that.
Don't tell me it's Rudy Gobert.
Rudy Gobert has the highest offensive rating in NBA history. And it's not even close. It's not even close. Rudy Gobert has the highest offensive rating by over 4 points higher than the next person, which is Nikola Jokic. No, it's Clint Capella. Clint Capella is the next closest person. Nikola Jokic is third.
Okay.
Who do you think is the highest guard of all time? The highest guard, offensive rating guard.
Like point guard, shooting guard, or just guard?
Just guard in general.
I'll say MJ.
It is Chris Paul.
Chris Paul.
Offensive rating usually takes into account everything that you can do.
Okay.
For an offense, efficiency, stats. Chris Paul usually blows those out of the water.
Right.
But yeah, Rudy Gobert has the highest offensive rating of all time, and Clint Capella has the second best.
Ooh.
So offensive rating may not be a very trustworthy stat to gauge somebody by. But yeah, that was very interesting to find out. Whenever I first saw it.
I probably would have never got that.
Yeah. So the third question, you're 0 for 2. You're not looking good so far.
No.
LeBron James has the highest career usage rate in NBA history.
That's cap.
Usage rate. You say it's cap?
Yeah.
My friend, you are on the board. You are 1 for 3. Do you have any idea who is first? LeBron James is 6th, by the way.
Nikola Jokic.
Nikola Jokic is not first. I'll give you one more guess. It is a current player.
Okay, Giannis.
It is not Giannis Antetokounmpo. The highest usage rate of all time is your guy, Joel Embiid.
Oh, okay.
Embiid.
I didn't think he was first. I thought he was second or third.
Joel Embiid currently has the highest usage rate of all time. I don't remember off the top of my head who was second. I remember that Russell Westbrook was third. Okay. But yeah, I did not expect to see Joel Embiid's name there. I guess at the beginning of his career, kind of playing on some worse Sixer teams.
Yeah.
And up until James Harden comes along, he's shouldering that load, man, like you said.
Yeah. Yeah, I didn't think he was. I figured he was, close up there. I didn't think one.
Yeah. But you're on the board. Number 4. The Sacramento Kings have the most all-time losses by any team, by any franchise in NBA history. The Sacramento Kings, the dumpster fire themselves. Most losses all time.
All time. I'll say cap.
You say cap?
Yeah.
It's actually a fact.
It is.
The Sacramento Kings have the most losses all time. To be fair towards them, their franchise has actually been around for a good little while.
Mm-hmm.
But still, they have over 100 losses more than the second place team. Can you have a guess of who that is?
No, I'll say Minnesota.
Minnesota is a relatively new franchise, so it's not them. It's the New York Knicks. New York Knicks have the second most losses. But going back to the Kings, I guess it's just eternal torment for Kings fans as they've been around for a while and they've been losing for a while, and it doesn't look like that's going to change anytime soon.
Yeah.
So
I know they have like the
me
longest playoff drought, but I didn't think they had the most losses all time.
yeah. Me personally, I don't know any Kings fans. If anybody listening to this knows a Sacramento Kings fan, you don't. They shouldn't exist.
No,
And if they do, um,
I feel sorry for them,
yeah, please check up on them as much as you can. They need
especially after this year.
it. Moving on to the fifth question. This is an interesting one. Statistically, Game 6 is Klay Thompson's best playoff game. Game 6 is Klay Thompson's best playoff game. Game 6, Klay. Statistically, that's his best game. Is that fact or cap?
That's fact. Statistically, yeah, I'll say fact.
Statistically?
Yeah, I'll say
Statistically, that is cap.
crap. Yeah,
Actually, Game 5, Klay is better than Game 6, Klay by the numbers. In Game 6, Klay Thompson averages 21 points, 4.5 rebounds, and an assist and a half on 43% shooting, 48 from the three-point line. In Game 5, Klay Thompson averages 23 points, 4 rebounds, and 2.5 assists on 50% shooting from the field and 46% from three. So it's not a huge numbers difference, but the numbers slightly skew to Game 5s for Klay Thompson.
Might just be the moments that he gets called. Game 6 Klay. Probably what it is.
Yeah, I'm sure. And one game I can particularly remember where he got the name to begin with.
Yeah.
But there have been a lot of Game 6s I look back on, and I guess the numbers are slightly dampened by early in his career because he did have some single-digit performances.
Mm-hmm.
But Game 6, Klay was definitely born against Oklahoma City. And Game 5, Klay has just been solid. So if the series goes past its original 4 games, Klay Thompson's just that guy. Apparently, he's just built for those moments.
Right.
Apparently, you're not. You're a 1 for 5.
1 for 5. Yeah, pretty bad.
So you've already you're already sure to not get 5 or 8. So if you can get these last 3, you at least finish 50%. You think you can do that?
Probably not, but I'll try.
All right. Let's see. 6th question. DeMar DeRozan attempted more than 200 two-point jump shots than anybody else in the NBA this season. More than 200 more two-point jump shots than anybody else in the NBA this season. Is that fact or cap?
I say cap.
You say cap?
Yeah.
You're 1 for 6.
200?
You are shooting 17% from the field right now. That is terrible.
200 more.
He has shot over 200 more two-point jump shots this season than the next closest person. He shot over 700 two-point jump shots. And do you have a guess who the second place person might be?
Chris Paul.
It was not Chris Paul. It was Brandon Ingram. Brandon Ingram shot almost exactly 500. But over 200 more two-point jump shots is pretty crazy, in an era where it's 3 points and paint layups and dunks.
Yeah.
DeMar DeRozan, of course, defies that with his style of play.
Right.
And props to him because he was second team All-NBA this season. It didn't really matter.
200 more is crazy. I didn't think that was
Yeah,
true.
That's a big number, especially for him to shoot 700 and the next closest guy to be only 500.
Yeah.
That's almost a third of the shots right there. Crazy to think about. You're 1 for 6. You got 2 more.
Yep.
At least you're giving yourself room to improve in future episodes. So I guess you can look at it that way.
All that matters.
Since 2015, James Harden has made the most off the dribble 3-pointers since 2015. Is that a fact or is it cap? Off the dribble.
I'll say fact.
You say fact?
Yeah.
You would be correct. Finally, James Harden has made more than 300 more than the second place person. James Harden has made over 1,500 off the dribble threes since 2015, a crazy number. Do you have any idea who the second place person might be?
Off the dribble. Curry, Steph Curry.
It's not Steph Curry. He was third. Damian Lillard is second. And I guess that has to do with Steph Curry's off-ball movement, why he's not in second place.
Right.
James Harden and Damian Lillard are, I guess, the most the most associated with
Off the dribble.
ISO tween,
Yeah.
get a bucket, especially from three.
Right.
But yeah, over 300 more than the next person, James Harden. Pretty impressive, even considering that he only shoots about league average from three, which has put him in conversations up there as one of the best 3-point shooters of all time for that particular reason.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so you're 2 for 7, 29%. It's not very respectable, but you can at least get up to 38 if you get this last one right. Russell Westbrook did not lead the NBA in turnovers this season. Is that a fact or is it cap? He did not lead the NBA in turnovers.
Did not. That's fact.
Did not.
Fact.
It's a fact. Well, you ended on a streak. You ended on a streak of 2. Russell Westbrook was not the NBA leader for turnovers. He was second place with only 8 less than the first place person with significantly less games played. But do you have any idea who that first person is? Think ball dominant players. Ball dominant playmakers.
Playmakers. Okay. Is he a young guy?
He is pretty young.
Pretty young. Jalen Green?
It is not Jalen Green. I'll give you one more guess. This team made the playoffs. His team made the playoffs, by the way.
No, made the playoffs? Okay. Most turnovers.
He did not play very well in the playoffs.
Was it who was it? Wasn't Zach LaVine, was it?
It was not Zach LaVine. It was Trae Young.
Trae Young, really?
Trae Young led the NBA in turnovers this season, but he also had a significantly better assist to turnover ratio than Russell Westbrook did. And of course, Russell Westbrook did not play as many games as Trae Young did. But Trae Young was the counting stats leader for turnovers. So you went 3 for 8 in your first ever factor cap. What'd you think about that segment? How'd you like it?
I liked it. I got 2 off on surprise on a few of them. But I like it. It was a fun thing to think about because you think you know, but you don't.
Yeah.
And yeah.
I was close
on some of them, but it was some of them is really surprising.
I will say the premise of most of these stats are meant to trick you into thinking there's no way that could possibly be the case.
The DeMar DeRozan, I thought it was no way, but
yeah, that was a lot of fun. Like I said, if y'all want to see that more in the future, just let us know down in the comments below.
For any suggestions for anything.
Yeah. I guess we can about wrap it up there for today. That's kind of all the movement that has gone around in the NBA.
Yeah, pretty quiet.
Of course, I expect a lot more to go on in the next couple of days. And I'm sure we'll have a lot to talk about. I wanted to bring this up because this has been brought to my attention. We started this show kind of with the premise to be focused around basketball. Mostly because that's what we know, that's what we breathe, that's our bread and butter. But if y'all want us to talk about football whenever football season rolls around or the baseball season that's going on, we both have a pretty general knowledge of what's going on. We keep up with the game.
Yeah, I just got into baseball this year, so it'd be pretty fun. Try to learn, talk about, I guess.
Yeah. So I mean, if that's something y'all want to see, we can do it. But the main reason why I kind of came in this to be focused around basketball is just because I don't want to talk about something, especially if I have no idea what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
So I don't want to talk about the Oakland Athletics bullpen issues if I have no idea what's going on.
Right.
But the general stuff we typically know. So if that's something y'all want to see, let us know. And we'd be more than happy to do it. But yeah, that's really all I wanted to talk about this episode. Jacob, do you have anything you want to add?
I'd just like to thank everybody for the support. I think first video got over 200 views right now, or at over 200. Really appreciate it. Really do.
Yeah, the continued support has been great. Tell your friends, man. Tell your friends about us. If they're hoop heads like us, I'm sure they'll enjoy listening to us as well. we're getting better at this as the episodes go by.
Getting more comfortable.
Yeah, getting more comfortable, getting more into the swing of things, and we're having fun with it, man. We're having fun. This has been a blast to do, and more great content on the way.
Yeah.
And it's led by y'all, man. Like I said, whatever y'all want to see us do, if y'all have any suggestions, let us know, and we can continue to grow this thing together. So with that being said, we'll sign off for now. We'll probably see y'all on Sunday. Maybe wrapping up free agency. There'll probably still be some things going on, but the bulk of free agency will probably be done by then.
Yeah, I think it opens tomorrow at 6 p.m.
So expect a lot of that talk to come next episode.
Yeah.
And until then, signing out. We'll see y'all.
See y'all.
Peace out.